Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is my Benelli Lupo in pieces here. Now this receiver is aluminum, so it shouldn't rust, so you shouldn't have to worry about that rusting on you. But it's good to wipe everything down. The reason why I took this thing apart, it's a brand new gun, and I'd taken it to the range 3 times, never had it in the rain. And I noticed that there was what appeared to be a tiny bit of rust or something forming right behind where the bolt, right here, right behind the bolt catch area. And I called Benelli and I said, this gun's brand new, what's going on? And they said, well, that appears to be a little bit of rust. And I said, well, I've never taken it in the rain. How can this thing be rusting? Evidently, it isn't just if you take it out in the rain, but the ambient moisture in the air can cause a little bit of surface rust. The recipe to get rid of that is quadruple aught steel wool with heavyweight oil near 30. I use some of my boat oil. You rub it, you don't scrub it, and then it'll disappear, and then you make sure you lubricate the gun. And when you lubricate it, you also want to use a hairdryer for about 10 minutes. It'll heat up the metal, which opens the pores in the metal and will let that oil penetrate. So to take the Lupo apart is pretty straightforward. Right here under the Benelli word, there is a screw hidden in there, and then there is one addition, or pardon me, a bolt. There's one additional bolt here that goes right here behind the bolt entrance. So what I'm doing now is a little bit of gun oil, wiping this thing off to make sure that any of those little signs of potential surface rust are going away, and then I am lubricating it, and I will apply the heat via the hairdryer to make sure that that lubrication sucks into that metal, and then I should be in good shape for a while. So we'll do this and check back in when it's all put back together. Alright, now that you've done whatever service it is you want to do, I think this is probably good. You need to rebed the action. Oh, pick it up. There's a pillar that lines up. Trigger through the pillar. There we go. That looks pretty good. There's a screw in the back, try to kind of get it started. Or a nut, or a bolt, pardon me, a bolt. I'd go as much as you can with your fingers, because once you switch to Allen key, you can only do it at about a quarter turn per. Great that they make stuff that you can work on, but it'd be nice if they thought about the common guy with the Allen key trying to poke this thing in there and get it all set up. So you tighten this one in the back. I think the factory spec on this torque is like 70 pounds or something. It is not light. And also the manual suggests that you check after you shoot this thing a few times, that you check the check these and make sure that they're seated properly. So that's a good time to pull this thing apart, give it a good wipe down, make sure you're not accumulating any surface rust, and when you do that, oil it. And if you really want to get that oil into the metal, use the hairdryer trick, and that should open the pores of the metal and get that in there. Okay, that's starting to get tight. So now you flip it over And there's one additional screw right here. There we go. So one goes from the bottom to snug it that way, and then one goes from the top, as opposed to having two that are in the same direction. This, I guess, all right, so that's that, and then you go, and then a little bit. Flip it over. That's, my torque wrench isn't set up that I could even actually torque these screws to spec because it's the wheeler. So then you go tight, put it back in there one more time to go tight, and a little bit. That's tight. Okay, so while we're here, we'll go ahead, grab the bolt, do a function check, but now I feel way better about the condition that this is in. This bolt, it wants to stick a little bit. When you work the action on this gun, you want to make sure that the bolt that you lift up, because it's glassy enough that it wants to kind of fall back down. There you go. That's it. You're all done. Surface rust. Brand new gun. Who would have thunk it? But something you got to be aware of and something you got to deal with. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.